그래서 어디서 가게 담지 좀 오래도 지금 이제 제가 가는 거는 뭐지 차자로就是就新给了的时候，有的上级过来年那样，搞点上级过来那个也这边那没晓得，不管点了新给了，但是他这里样啊，可能不会有，但是这个他就把这些什么呢，他这个早晚的样嘛。就学那那么一种价格去送的，处理解决结婚今年的咱们就在都没家住，切不干不切不送东西。那种环境咱们就没得，我们大城市的边缘边界嘛，冲突到不到，现在那到哪里来讲就是咱们有的不羡慕现在，之后推动之后提上重新这么难是吧？他这个把的他出进去，咱出的经验的对比那个。做我当不是个有点意思。
So next section, those to whom one offers. So we've already discussed this a bit, but to continue with our text that was basing our teachings on, and we have the from the root text regarding the objects to whom we make the offerings to. The text says, "This I offer to the lamas, yidams, dakinis, dharmapalas, and all the mandalas of the Buddhas of the 10 directions, to the local deities of this world, beings of the 6 realms, and the guests to whom I owe karmic debts, and especially to those who would steal my life and deplete my life force, to the malicious Jungpo demons who inflict sickness and obstacles, bad signs and dreams, and all types of evil omens, the 8 classes of negative spirits, the masters of magical illusions, and those to whom I owe karmic debts of food, place, and wealth, to forces that bring obscuration and madness, to the shades of men and women dead, to all the spirits, chulungs, ghouls, and female ghosts." So here, listing off, gathering together of all the various objects to whom, individuals to whom we are making offerings and acts of generosity.
그래서 다 당고 권초 숨두지다 있어 빠른 답이라면 산지 권초도 비비고도 산지 권초도 비비 의료 기타와 예전 킹콜전하서 남다 인생 한국 연중 그 비비 라그 칸로 추종다 기바 너는 초주 람잠 유비 자르비 킹콜 삼점을 잡아 제네도 유바 하다 때 대단한 권총 쓰기로는 잡아보고 없어.
Giving the commentary to this. Here, all the recipients of the offering are explained according to the categories of the 4 types of guests. Firstly, there are the guests invited out of respect, the 3 jewels. The glorious Lama, first of all, is the source of blessings and the embodiment of the 3 jewels. The Yidam deities of the mandalas are the sources of accomplishment, cities, and are included under the Buddha jewel. The Akinis are included in the inner Sangha of Vijayadharas. Then there are also the Dharmapalas. In short, this includes all the inconceivable mandalas of Buddhas residing throughout the infinite Buddha fields of the 10 directions.
다인데 얘네 제당가 다 아니 권총 선수요 봐. 다들 권총 선수들아 되니가 또 쳇다 낭 상상하다도 있을까? 제가 지도 없어. 얘네 급들도 당한 송한테 체벌지 상기 다 예담돼서 다 빼내 이다서 상하다 돌지 체벌지 상기 있어. 얘네 대나이 다 빼지겠어요. 얘네 간도당 네 주중을 가서봐. 그래서 담지 얘네 다 전진 한국 된데스. 뭐다 되기야 시야래서. 제발 짓는 거라서 당연히 시원하다.
Here, first, we have the guests invited out of respect, the 3 jewels. The 3 jewels, the sources of refuge. The three jewels can be understood on many levels, in particular on the outer, inner, and secret levels. So now, in our current context, this practice, where the guests of the three jewels are identified as the Yidam deities of the mandalas, are the sources of accomplishment and are included under the Buddha jewel. So here the Yidam deities are the extraordinary jewel of the Buddhas in the general teachings of a secret mantrayana. And likewise, the Dakinis and Dharmapalas are here considered the extraordinary Sangha, the extraordinary inner Sangha of the Vidyadharas.
네, 다 지던 와 챔피언이나 다 장교선 받아서 맨날 당나라 그 견디서 와. 되네 특파 중국이나 다 녀한테 가서랑 이제 다 좀 받아서 얘네 당나라 저 얘네 중국이다 가서 다 특파 뭐하게 되는 견디서 근데 지금 그래서
Generally speaking, in the Mahayana vehicle, the great vehicle, the Bodhisattvas, the myriad Bodhisattvas are the Sangha, jewel of the Sangha. And in the Hinayana, the root vehicle, lower vehicle, the assembly of listeners, solitary realizers, and arhats are generally to be considered the jewel of Sangha.
Voilà, c'est tata dinane tata 추중 됐어서 한도다 추중세. 아직 추중 될라더니 체벌이 걸었어. 베르나 얘네 따다가 저사 쫄내비. 얘네 다 장초스 봐. 이제 도와. 베르나 때니 이시 공부당. 얘네 빠르게 못 하게. 다 대탐지 얘네 고쳐 쓰시다는 집시.
Control C. Again, C.
Yeah, yeah.
Dakinis are included in the inner Sangha of Vidyadharas. Then there are also the Dharmapalas. Dharmapalas, the Dharma protectors, Chukyung, considered here within the also the inner Sangha of the Vidyadharas. But there's one distinction to be made regarding the Dharmapalas, how they're to be understood. So there are Dharma protectors abiding on the 10 bhumis of the Bodhisattvas, Dharma protectors such as Yeshigunpo and Padam Namo. So those such Dharmapalas are considered in this class of Sangha.
Kunju siju don nam to be right.
네, 고추 쓰시는
Don shi or
All of them, and they are also considered within this, the first category of the guests of the three jewels invited out of respect.
다 소마 현다 돼서 되는 랭당 되게 쳐봐요.
So the other Dharma protectors, the worldly Dharma protectors, are considered within the classification of the second group of guests, the guests invited based on their qualities.
suma de sala ne bi suma chada marida ti ishikon ba badal namata
Yeshigunbuddha, Padam.
ishilama badal gombo dawo
무신 공부도 빠져나면 다 된다고 삽주트요.
사투.
주네 지금 주바 데 말에 주투주 주 어디
다 현다도 되고 다 맞모든 놈.
That's true, ne gububari neginde.
세다 뭐가 마카와요 그래. 삽주네 아는 놈.
사주바
사주 다음은
사주바 톱 사주 든죠
라스마
다 지금 다 교환이 돼. 거기서 그래서 다 사기에서 차리는 거야. 사주세는 다 장초스마다 윤지 타만해서 와.
So to clarify, I said the Dharma protectors abiding on the bhumis 1 to 10. So that's not correct. It's the Dharma protectors, the Dharmapalas abiding that have reached the culmination of the 10th bhumi. such as Yeshigunpo and Pavan Lamo, that are considered in that first category of guests. All the rest are in the second category of guests.
La sobandola tene tsang ji ngo mo dunji tsang ga ji bas ata 대다 탐지가 되네 지양아랑 소바 고르도 다 빼나 기세레 에네 열라 이게다 에네 다 말한 소고 빼나 네다라 소바 뜻어도 제바 탐지스 에네 다 탐고 뭐야 되니 그죠.
Then there are the guests invited on account of their qualities, the protectors. This refers to local deities of every place and continent, represented by those of our own continent of Jambu, Vipa, the Earth Lords, Devas, Nagas, planetary and stellar forces, guardians of the directions, careful. The
8 중중교 지제고
지치
지제고 야천이야 되는 공부도 괜찮아.
So within this class, primary spirits, deities, being gathered based on their qualities, we have the 8 great gods, the 8 great Nagas, the 8 great planetary forces, planetary deities, the 28 constellation spirits, the 8 great terrifying ones, the 25 protectors. And here we are. And the 75 glorious protectors of the pure abodes together with their retinues. So all these spirits, gods, deities, surrounded together with their retinues, are this category of the protectors, the beings invited based on their unique enlightened qualities, together with the local spirits, land-holding deities, the protectors, the particular spirits of sacred sites, and so forth. These are all the protector beings invited based on their qualities. So in Tibet, every valley, every region, every area has its own local spirits, local land master spirits, local spirits of particular holy sites. And these are relayed in individual, distinct song practices, song rituals, where each land, each lama has their own different spirits. We call these the song of the earth and song of the rocks. Sasang Dosan. Look. Yeah.
제 뭐라 죽섬스 근데 방그 송아 죽섬스 방그 세서 기랑 방그 송아 죽섬
Sopla.
소가 제사 첩전 죽섬
Oh.
아니 다 열라 그래서는 치슈 열라 소돌 소돌 니가 말해 열라 소돌 죽섬 있어요 열라 소돌
Sang chupsum. Gola chupsum. Bang sopla chupsum.
근데 첩전 제사 양 첩전 죽섬 소돌 가르사 아니 소돌스는 그 용도가 나야 치슈들에 열라 너네 치슈 소돌 죽섬스 근데 뒤 나오니까 또 아무래도니 니가 끼워래 강나 니가 끼스
Can't make it laugh.
강 딱발된 강나 니가 끼
Mountain ranges 강으로. Mountain ranges.
Yeah. Snow mountain.
소들은
Snow mountain
중이에요.
spirits.
소들 중.
소돌 균이다
소들 중.
아니 소돌 균이다 다 어디 탐
Good body. Not good dead body.
예. 네 탐지를 와. 지금 다 남겨주잖아. 네 탐지 쪼고다가 사실 그런 게 강화연에 되게 그런 쪼고 제고요. 배나다 위정이라고 그러니나 되는 위정들이야. 쪼고다 년前당한다고 쪼지.
Yinchen.
다 감라고 지나 다양 감급에 아니 막 그래서 마찬 보란다고 다 뒤고 그것도 소돌다 강라돼서 강화연에 근데 뭔가 되게 미치 다 말아서 쌍에서觉得 쪼다 다 대소를 대체고 다 대소 담기 빼는 냐면 야 뭔가 지금 반좀 두면은 다 맞서 랑게 초들 체휴가 와이나 근데 강박감 같아 내가 좀 가다 되는 세가 좀 제거를 많이 봐 쌍게다다 되겠는데 다 참 이야가라 되더니 좀 게다 믹스라고 되듯이 제어해서
So it's kind of sad, you know. Each lama, each land has its own, you know, principle, offering subject of its song, its individual song practice. So Tibet is covered in spirits, local deities, dating back to the original kings of Tibet, who established relations with various different spirits to protect and sustain the peoples of Tibet. So to list off some of these principal spirits, we have the Golhla, the 13 Golhla,
골라. 그래서 고르당 직세만.
뭐라서나 딱 뭐마더니 디아보드서 코라도 뭐마다 뭐뭐 코라도 다 늘랭도 걸 뭐마가 까시까 빠섭시는도 다 커서도 늘랭이래 다때도 커서랑 게되는 걸데라 딱 가래이 맞대 희야게 아무 배나다 라 배나다가 좀 마치 보라 젠첸다고 세는데 너 근데 배나 개설서는 너 알아 칼라를
Lu Nagagi Lu.
말만.
뭐라
골루 여러 뭐데요.
뭐라래 그 걸라고 딱 그만 디아보드서 고좀 망데서 막 깐나고 가서 고좀 으라고 토를 말 제가
Tent gods?
No.
Melody.
Melody.
Gur.
다 되도 고좀 다 믹스하기다 고좀 빼는 고좀부터 하나서 먹어요래 그래서 당가서 소화다 사다고 아 뭐만 되도 고좀 뭐만 돼서 값을 디아보드서 값을 난 뭔가 마종 거에서 거기서 수수가 하나도 되고 봐. 내가 때문에 디아보드서 다 고좀 몰랐어. 되게 얘기 몰랐어. 뭐야 이제
So the 13 protector spirits of song, individual song, melody.
No. Before Buddhism came to Tibet, so the kings used to when they address or when they have to talk to the subject, they sing, through gurma, like gurma, Then when they sing, they have the 13 spirits that they make, they pay homage, and then they start. So that's why known as the 13 gurla of the kings. Jason king, Gavin, Jay Gurla Chuksums and Water.
So those 13? Bangsokla. Then we have the 13 spirits of the life force of the citizenry, the commoners. Bangsokla. The 13 Bangsokla. Then
Balance and the subject of Soul life force.
Yeah. That's what I said, right?
Yeah. Deity of life force of the subject.
Of the subjects of the citizenry. Then the 12 Soldor.
So the local guardians.
Local guardians. So we have many different local guardians, local spirits. So among all of them, the most powerful, the greatest are these 12 Soldor deities. They're the most powerful of all the local deities, land spirits of Tibet. And the 13 protector Tsen spirits. Choksen Choksum. Choksen Choksum.
Kela. Birth.
Birth?
Yeah.
Kela.
Deity of birth.
13.
Yeah.
13 spirits of birth? Kela Choksum.
Kela, say.
Well,
some local guardian deity of Ushire.
yeah.
Why the reason why it's not in Kela is wherever, for example, here we have, I give an example, you have mountain here, right? So there is spirit there, the local guardian deities. I'm born in Santa Fe, so I'm under his control. That's why it's named Kela. But Kela Chuksum.
From the place of your birth.
Yeah, place of your birth. Then we have the 21 snow mountain gods, snow mountains. Kangli Nishisachi.
Mountain ranges, Mongolian, Machin, Bomra, mountains, Mongolian.
Himalaya, Tendrawoji, Tachi, Tendra, Chimbo, Yoma, that Tendrawoji Somio.
So the 21 spirits of the 21 main snow mountain ranges of Tibet, so in the Himalayas, the big mountains, the Himalayas have their own spirits, own guardian protector gods. So in Tibet we have the 21 main guardian protector spirits of the snow mountain ranges, the Himalayas, like Machen Pongra and so forth, that are primary protectors of and named after each of the ranges that they protect, are associated with. So when you're in a particular locale performing song, then whatever particular deity spirits are connected with that place are the primary, or are focused upon in the practice, are the primary objects of offering, of veneration. So when you're in U and Tsang, central Tibet, there are particular deity spirits that you'll focus on. Yenchen Tongha. Yenchen Tangha. When you're in Kham, Machen Pongra, this mountain range, and the guardian protector of that mountain range, and so forth.
Then, young Misaki sang the Misaki Guya. And that yana sena that so kamche nani pacher da ani zobo re da kora sang na mixer toma so je and mixer je de je tema junis and ba jong tema junis de nga so go ya go do me arsom de le zobo de da ko to any
German version.
Da ati ju som yo les. Karese ama ju som yo les. 주성만.
준이.
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 저기 가봐. 저기 가봐.
Then in particular practices, including song as well, we were given branch of song being engaged, a primary spirit to be venerated, or spirits to be venerated, offered to, with their particular, so that each particular spirit may have its particular offering substance, torma, and so forth. And then kind of the universal particular spirits to be venerated are the Tenma Chumni, the 12 guardian sisters of Tibet, and upper, lower, all primary regions, all areas of Tibet. These the Tenma Chumni, the 12 Tenma sisters, are venerated, offered to the 12 great mother spirits. And Rinpoche said it one time, instead of saying 12, said 13, and then corrected himself, and he said, maybe I'm the 13th.
얘네 양 믹서 찍게 잘하네. 얘네 다 믹서 찍게 얘네 거기서 가르쳐요. 잘하시는 다 가정지 시에서 대상가. 되게도 때마다 잘하는데 다 상의 용 여바서는 얘네 다 상의 용문이 있다라 되니 여바서라 얘네 상의 찍게 에마 니제 잘하서 상의 용
Liturgy.
Yeah.
상의 용문이 여기다 로 상대라고 많이 봐. 상의 다 때는 진짜 장이라고 되려다 상용 여바 참아라 뒤섬이 보여요. 상의 지당의 찍게 얘네 이를 조던 잘하게 찍게 영처럼 때마게 찍게 다 되더니 거기서 다 뒤니도 믹스할게. 오니 다 믹스한다고 그래.
Then another particular spirit is what we were talking about yesterday, the deity related to one's enemies. So in the real song liturgies, the more extensive song liturgies, not necessarily in our current abridged Riwo Sangchod, but in the extensive, real complete song liturgies like Gyangnen and so forth, then there are three particular sections of focus. In the offerings, there is the song, the general song offering section, and then there is the section on the Tenma, 12 Tenma, and then a section on the Ratha, the deity related to one's enemy. So we have the song, and then to the Yecho, to the right, Yecho, Yuncho.
Dorma of this, then Dorma of the Jala.
Sangi kill.
Yeah, so
다 은생이 와 은됐더니 우리자 이를 잘하자 이거 때마자.
So in making, so in these more extensive liturgies, and when the offerings are made, then to the center, in the center, the offering or the torma to the sung torma is offered to the center. To the right is the deity of the related to one's enemies, and to the left is the torma or offerings related to the tenma spirits.
다 때마생은 기도하는 다 돌지 다면 만주 가서 님하게 다 가서 추가 요청이 나는 지 서로 기도하는 데니야 때마 최고승은 이용도 와. 이 때마다 지가 됐어.
So regarding tenma spirits, in all Nyingma ritual practices, in the Soka section offering supplications to the Dharmapalas, there's a section on supplicating or invoking the commitment of the Tenma spirits. So those Tenma spirits are exactly the same. Soka. So
맞아, 지금 수학하는 때문에 중에서 여러 지금 동생.
So following the Ganachakra feast, following To, are the sections of the Chego and the Tenma. So that Tenma is offering to these same spirits.
네, 다 되려면 등산 노주부터 좀 드렸어도. 너무 당가란제 대요와 지 시초 강고도 값은더니 그 보모도 좀 그래도
Shitsoda.
기초 ben에 당가란제
Last.
강고 값은 가르에서는 그 안에 아바이나다 그 강가지 하고 kum도 근데 강가다 아마서 좀 그래도 다 대대 파졌더니 니니요 삼아 강가 냠이 살아 다 대대 쏘어서 되는 아마도서 살아 다 대대 값을 되는 데랬더니 다다 뭐서 이제 대마무보다 다대 이니 이가고 다 커서 아마 쏘어다 디가 아마 되랬어요 사람들서 가서 그거부터 다 끼마 다 끼마게 되다 되니 대상 우주들이 대지를 못 들리는 거 심족견이
Chema.
아마
Chema. Senat.
야 맞지 아마 강자 뜻서 농가당 다 소속의 사실다 강가서 요래 양 뜻서 그 리규 많기 왔다 요래 아까 뜻서 그 배는 리규로 도와 근데 세고라 다 때마 세다 강자 때는 다 사자들 땡장에 다좀 아마는 그래도 와 두스 리레서 다 이거 나오니 다지 쪽으로 보지 차양 dimsen들 SR 드레진스
때만 준이 보냈어.
Yeah. You get through this together. So histories of ancient Tibet, ancient Tibet, the original societies of Tibet. Women were like the heads of society, were more prominent. I think maybe because back in those days, people didn't pair off, husband-wife sort of thing. It was more kind of this communal thing going on. And you may have not known who the father was. So,
At one time, yeah.
yes, not anymore. Nobody knew who their father was, but everybody knew who their mother was. Maybe in part because of that, the women, the mothers were more prominent, the heads of society then. And the ancestry of those societies, there's histories written of them, of the Chema, the birth mothers, the histories of the birth mothers that exist up to today, that their ancestry, these ancestries can be traced up to today. And that society, that ancient society, is the source of these Tenma spirits.
Tibetan researchers they have written on this Gema. So in that they are mentioning what Rich is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all about, like, for example, about these 12 sister Tenmas. So they were at that time.
And their ancestries up to today.
So like, before they were like human, after that they became like a local spiritual deity, spirit or deity. There are several like local deities, local spirits in Tibet. Among them, why Tenma Chung is 612 Tenma goddesses are powerful and considered very famous. Which is because it was started at that time, that era, when the women were prominent of that society. So these 12 women of different region of Tibet who were very powerful, who were ruling, and then so they after the 혼자 당부 미래도 혼자 동산에 내내 그 디차도도
답변은 제보도서 마종공 살아. 제보도서 답변 제보도서 마종공 살아. 제보도서
야트 전부터 진짜 마중.
그래서 마종공 살아. 그래서 마종공 거는 같이 인사해. 당연히 가시적인 데는 고전을 됐어요. 连接机，连接机是他们抗建党户军的我觉得，他说他军官这个写过了抗建连接机嘛是，连接机嘛是那大边的，一个嘛是那个我他就说他或者在嘛个，他就说东西他抗的或者他党户跟着我写的多，因为他顶上或者个但是那个啥呢，他党户去，你脚步这个我那个马中个空了。他等你得去得搞出来收到，就当个达到以后的时候，忙起来等你得个为啥了吧？别人晚上做改善了我，改善了我，但我没了吧？他起码等你晚上做个他，我是难怪给这样这么强的吧？他这个我是这样，他等别人就是改善了当的呢，他别人改善的那个把头的时候，这样了不起，我得着我，但我们工作的呢，可能做个他。
이게 받았으니 개색 콜.
개색 콜도 답변에 지수되는 거 다 잘하고 보고요. 대라고 다 급대라 다 그런서 변 점으로 인사를 다 이제 다 점으로.
10만.
내말에서 다 급대라 양 그것도 다 지난 거 보면서 좀 지원해서 봐. 뒤 나오네 다 그것도 다 점으로 돼서 했어요.
So this history dates back to before the kings of Tibet emerged, before the reign of Nyingchi Tsenpo, the first king of Tibet. Often these spirits are called the co-emergent mother beings that were like, I don't know, born from nothing, or co-emergently arising spirits, like Yudrunma and so forth, the great Tenma protector spirit. So often these local deities, the histories of the local spirits date back to them being human beings, initially being humans or being kings or queens. Also, for example, Gesar of Ling. Gesar, who initially was a person and then has evolved into the protector spirit. Gesar, the most powerful gods relating to enemies, the Drahla, Gesar, along with his retinue of spirits, deities. So with these Tenma in particular, they were most likely queens that predate the royal lineage of kings entering into Tibet, back when society was ruled by women.
다 되니 딱 뭐만 보조편다 방그다 송하다고 그러와 다 근데 뭐를 뭐지 그걸 패드 가면서 당국 뭐를 뭐지가 다 카레라고 장에 좀 고소해 뭐를 뭐지 되는 마열했더니 그래서 다 뭐를 뭐지 벌 패우는 거야가 잘해요네 근데 그런 속에 다 나란 속에 뭐를 뭐지 돼 깔는 마도 되는 거 아주 다 방법을 내가 참아 넘고 그래
텐마대도
때마다서 다 때마다서 그때는 쏘어지는 거를 뭐들 쳐. 되네 다 받쳐 딱 맞어. 거를 뭐지 다 이거는 봐. 되는 거를 뭐지 찍다 거서 그 얘네 강가다 제망하는 저 그래. 되는 때가 되는 거를 뭐지 찍. 아까는 네가 치셔도 다들 너는 연락하셔요. 마도 망치와 다 때마다서 되더래.
텐마대도가 누가 채셔.
네가 치셔요. 다 됐어 그러는 거지 나 카드라고 다 짜투고 나 타마 팜으라고 마도 내가 그랬더니 빠져서 그래서 갑자기 짝되는 거를 뭐지 그래서 그 발을 째를 때 처음에다 됐어진데 근데 타마당 그러는 거지 아무 비안에 근데 타마당 그러는 거지 송아야베 나는 다지 송이 쪼원라고 하는 야네 버그 믹스 송한다고 야네더니 다다 상하겠지 가래겠지 가서 진코르지 샤르치네 인지 미니 근데 때마다서 지금 조구야다 드레스지 나가라 다 두스게래샤 이따 투명만 봐겠지 아니 버그 그냥 가서 투명만 봐 주나한테 제지래샤
So before the Buddha Dharma came to Tibet, the Tenma sisters, the Tenma spirits were protectors of the Bun. And then they were the first spirits commanded subdued, commanded by Guru Rinpoche. So when Guru Rinpoche first came to Tibet from Nepal, when he was preparing to depart from Nepal and enter into Tibet, the Tenma spirits knew they needed to stop him at all costs. Needed to stop him, or their Bun teachings would be destroyed. So with the Tenma spirits in the lead, many other local spirits attacked Guru Rinpoche, brought as many obstacles to his coming into Tibet. So these spirits came, the most powerful of which being the Tenma sisters, and brought obstacles. They smashed mountains together, tried to bring avalanches to cover Guru Rinpoche, until finally in the end Guru Rinpoche found them all, binding them and forcing them into becoming and accepting the commitments to be protectors of all of Tibet, protectors of the Buddha Dharma of Tibet, in particular the secret mantra teachings. Which is why now, for whatever mandala, whatever practice of secret mantra is opened in Tibet, is supplicate to the Tenma spirits.
얘네 양 다가 생인데 다 가상 시바 네 미당고야 마차 차라 마차 미야고 마줄 강 밑에서 인사래 거츠티 값었더니 마상 뿜 고생인데 다 뺏기서 식단이 다 하는 다 당고로 어디
마상
마상세도 다지 미양지 인주 미양바네 미 먹으려고 되는 인사래 되네 거저 다 거저 뺏기서 되네 다지 내가 첨부 슈키 뭐다 good
9 brothers.
That's
Giant.
Giant.
Yeah, 마상은 슉 첨부라 그래. 또 첨부.
알았어. 다 참선 더글 로진은 해도 디값을 하나 밀 찍어요 말이야. 하나 레이 들었어요. 당보 미마종 공직 당보 선제하라고 했더니 디지슨 레라고 했더니 가래 미라고 잡아 놓으시기도 디값을 이제 되네 다 되네 지금. 그래서 이나 거서 레 말했다. 거서 가서 미 당보도 소리를 먹어야 돼서. 얘네 먹고 했더니 다 치수 거서 디값을 Riwo Sangchod so abandawo tendego akurado daladan so ta mixer de chiwarwa ene tendes ken dala dawo ta tambo de tendes chongi sare tene ta pele kizere dala so ene ta jins ene ma so kesare da ene de so tam je ta ta so dala da tsigewa kesare da so ta na je mangwa tumo yembe ke je tene dala dawo cha ta jento so dala da chitang 딱 너만이 커서다 막 보안데 수급값인데 막 쓰니 용도 주고 다라래도 근데 가장 아주 싸마 거서 편에 뒤가서 쥐단들이 가서 야지 나랑 땡자고도 왔다 됐대
Then the origins of the spirits or deities related to one's enemies, the Dratha, really dates back to these the original people, the Neanderthals, the wild beast people that weren't quite people, weren't quite right. They were strange and violent. The original humans, maybe like Neanderthal, maybe fits. So in some Tibetan histories, the Masang that we were describing yesterday, the Masang, which means something like powerful human beast or something. So the original Dratha were the 9 brother Masang, the 9 brother powerful beast humans. So some Tibetan histories have describe the history of this type of being as not quite being human, but more being like demon, Dre. Where first they were some type of animal, and from being an animal developed into being Dre spirits, demons, and then became something like a human. But really, they're not Dre spirits, not those demons. They really we can consider them to be the original human beings, the first humans on the earth. So that's the generally accepted kind of history of that class of spirits, the Dratha, in particular. And then it's evolved over time, where today we consider other spirits such as Gesar of Ling, as being within this class of Dratha. But this general history of them developing from like Neanderthals, from the wild beast humans, really predates Buddhism, and is how they're explained and how they were venerated within the Bun tradition. Oh, and yesterday when we were talking about having a knife or a weapon or sword on the shrine to represent the Dratha, it's these Dratha that were venerated.
다 되네 양 나란제 다 되네 좀 현직은 좀 생겨들었다 토리네 송고들이 로와 나다 남이다 미다 진로 냐와라서 건 로와 레토도 아간 그 동학점이 놀면서 좀 현직들도 좀 담게다 항상.
Next are the guests of the 6 classes invited out of compassion. This refers to beings wandering throughout the 6 classes, each tormented by their own particular sufferings. The gods, demigods, human beings, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell beings.
다 되긴 나네 다 체벌도 내차 비르긴 좀 생긴 다 되는 거는 그게 내리 다디 내차 되는 거저 되게다 비르기 초들 다 되는 체벌도 내차진 좀 깨다 체 내차 좀 깨다 체벌도 다가 체 다가 라체 초바 소소不行 교바 내송하다 바체 좀 중보 당 말람 다생년 바다 이게 바동을 레이스가 저도 기당 제례시 다 되게 빼는 기술은 직변제 측과 대지 되네 측과 대지에서 마롱과 총표됐다고 남다 그래서 라니라 되네 다 렌차스 쳐봤어요 다 렌차스 쳐봤어요 세제 렌차 네제 렌차 얘네 노르제 렌차 얘네 라소부인 도나트네 렌차 보여줬다고 탐시 제样 세트니다 노르블라스과 잡지다고다 다모 녀네 동인제 포신지 잘라니 바스 다츠덤지드니야 제디 신데나 데네 차죠 에네 신이다 지가랑도 고만다고 데네 데네 멤버들이 양 지가랑도 지 제존도 차서 거래 포신지 잘라니 바 모신지 잘라니 바 저저 힘이 끼고 예다가에서 또바 남당 종철라수도 생고당 너는 배도 폼을 내서 또 빙을 내자지도 저바 탐체 스타트
This referring to the guests invited out of compassion, all the sentient beings, all beings of all 6 classes of existence. So then among them we have the next section, or the next classification of guests, the 4th type of guests to be invited. There are the guests to whom we owe karmic debt, lencha. So the guests to whom we owe karmic debt, especially those, so in general we're inviting all guests that we owe some type of karmic debt, have this karmic connection to, and in particular focusing on those who would steal our life spirit or deplete our life force or kill us, including those malicious Jungpo, demons, beings who create obstacles such as sickness, the arrogant spirits of this world who bring bad signs and dreams and all types of evil omens, referring to the particular functions or actions of these different types of malicious spirits that we may have karmic debt to. There are the 8 classes of negative spirits, or the 8 classes of haughty, arrogant spirits, the masters of magical illusions. And in particular, there are those to whom we have not repaid our karmic debts, to whom we owe food, dwelling places, wealth, and possessions. And furthermore, there are those forces, male and female, that bring us impurity and obstruction. There are demons that cause insanity and illness. There are the ghosts of men and women who have died. There are the spirits of the dead, included in the class of pretas or hungry ghosts. Here, in identifying those spirits that have been born as demons or ghosts, the spirits and demons of the dead that often arise based on evil or negative aspirations that were made during their previous lifetimes. And based on those have now become demons or evil spirits, ghosts, and so forth. In short, the karmic creditor guests include all the obstructing spirits of the various classes of ghosts and demons, both male and female. So this is the fourth type of guest, the guest to whom we owe karmic debts. All these classifications of spirits, local spirits, land-owning spirits, all these various different spirits, you find them all over the world. India, China, Nepal, Muslim countries, but they don't seem to be here in America.
Yeah. Like in that song text, we can find all this mentioning about the I offer the song offerings to the local spirits or protectors, guardians of the India, Tajikistan, all like this, Tibet, and it's mentioned all over the Asian countries. It doesn't mention about the American, like the local spirits of America or something. It doesn't mention in the text.
There's no connection to America.
When it was Indian.
So maybe because like back in the day there just weren't people here yet in America, and then how long have the Native Americans been here? Like he's asking
almost like
20,000.
20,000 years?
12 to 20,000.
Yeah. Minimum 12.
that the rest that up in that any that did on a pen and Dulagana any Shakat back any chief Karsa this Toma Malunga guessing Toma singing Amachila and Pungabja any Pungabja young and day, didn't it? Canada take it in that did around so any that dread that you
not yet
general that did in a Casacana then is so pure than a land and this getting ritual. Then it from Pogmaja or what in Yamaja Shajat about purchased in its sort. Then the co purchase of Muzina Bovia. 동세 동세는 그거더니 아마 되겠다 삼벌에 강가더니 용더니 뭐랑 보면 근데 뭐 메시브 삼파미 근데 샤자도 받았더니 소다 나도 부지 라송스 잠벌에는 용인데 근데 짠을 이렇게 만들었어 근데 그치 때 가발을 여매더니 대화로 됐어 근데 샤자도 받아서 저랑 버들 락니 저랑 세마 방문도 왔어 그러나 때 메시브 세마 방문도 없어 근데 저랑 그 딱 버릴 때는 미견다 보고더니 미견다 딱 버려 저랑 그 세게 요래서 세게 요는데 미견다서 대가래 저랑 그 보고 찍려 생대 가려 용거야 대 용거야 그래서 다 저랑 그 단위 생기는 너세 매제 생긴 소문 줘 키래나 이게 저랑 그 보대 딱이 대면한테 이게 짠이 딱 두고 그래서 근데 니나 근데 나가 보고 아비한테 나라고 말했어 그래서 내가 싫어했어 그런 거 소마제나 그런 거 되게 보고도 싫어했어. 근데 다 저런 거 소마제하고 너무 랭이나 이게 저런 거 보고 되게 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 저런 거 되게 되죠. 근데 뭐라는 거 그래야 되게 자기도 보고 가지. 근데 대체는 되게 가서 다 자기도 보고 되게 연구도 속에 근데 가장 장부직 장을 해봐. 장부직
또
네.
뒤집듯이 거기서 총망아비하다 때문에 들어도 왔대 때는 너하게 송만다고 때문에 파셨다 너희 나는 다 송만다고 지금 다 총만이요 그래 총 나한테 다 밝혀서 용수 장관했다 자기한테 베긴 들라 때문에 생기하는 너서 빵 코랑 비행기 돈발래 너마다 밝혀서 생기야 속교 들으지 제게 다 제마한테는 나랑 좀 땜발아야 쇼 때문에 코랑 들으지 틀라 토마마고 납자성이 지어래. 어때서?
Trauma 납자.
마법 납자.
마부 납자.
아마가 보고 납자. 아마지 보고
순간. So many stories of demons, evil spirits becoming protectors of the Buddha Dharma. We have many such stories, many of these in Tibet. Also dating back to Buddha Shakyamuni in the Vinaya. There's one particular text describing the history of this, where there was a malicious, evil female spirit, a trauma, who had 500 children, and she would roam around the world killing beings. Killing and engaging in various practices to kill and murder. So one day the Buddha kidnapped one of her 500 children, placed them in his offering bowl, and trapped them in there. So the demoness spirit, the trauma demoness spirit, recognized that one of her 500 children was missing and became extremely distraught and searched the universe, searched everywhere for her one lost child and couldn't find it and became extremely depressed, saddened by it, eventually ending up in front of the feet of the Buddha requesting him to tell her where her lost child was, begging him. And the Buddha said, "Why are you saddened by this, losing one of your 500 children?"
Yeah.
"I'm completely devastated, heartbroken by this." Well, this is exactly how the families of those beings that you go around killing feel. They feel exactly like this. Same depth of heartache that you're feeling from the loss of your one child is what you bring about on all these families of those beings that you're murdering. And continues and says, the only way you get your child back is if you vow to never kill again. So she considers this and she says, well, I feed my 500 children off like the blood and flesh of beings I kill. So if I take such a vow, commit to never kill again, they'll all starve to death. I can't do that. And the Buddha says, I'll make you a deal. You vow to never kill again, and I will sustain your children. I can feed them, take care of them. to which point she agrees to never kill again, and also to protect the teachings of the Dharma. So before, when we were talking about the offerings of food that can be made as means for amassing the accumulations, the chongbu offering, the fingerprinted mass of tampa dough ball that you make, is what's that?
Is offering to these 500.
Yeah, is an offering to these 500. They're called the 500 mother and children spirits.
Those are unique protectors of Vinaya. So only mentioning about protectors that can be found in Vinaya Sutra.
Voilà, 다 된다고 다 그치 supposed to come 다 단서 맞아지. 다 대담지 뭐야 이거. 다 가데스 본 거에서나. 네 양은 참아 매일 색된 제사가 이라 가면 그 기스 남간이 바로 내비에서 세번 나는 좀 오죽 그래. 인생 면전에 다 매진한 생각들 그건 좀 예를 이제 이도는 이제 그런 거는 로고서 좀 상계 쇼시에 빠지다라.
So we can talk about those such spirits forever. There's countless numbers of such spirits we can talk about. So stopping there for now, we'll move on and describe how it is that the offering is to be made. So from the root text, missing the bottom line. Now all my karmic debts are paid, burnt in the scarlet flames. Whatever each one desires, may the objects of their desires rain down. For as far and as long as space exists, I dedicate an inexhaustible amount of sensual stimulants. I'm missing this last line. I'm the one that we read the bottom line there. My bad print
all
jobs.
sentient beings awaken into the heart of enlightenment.
May my negative actions and obscurations accumulated in past, present, and future.
Okay. And misuse of the offerings made to the three jewels in devotion and for the dead be purified in the fire of this song offering. Let its flames fill the entire universe, and every minute particle of flame become an inexhaustible cloud of offerings like Samantabhadras, pervading throughout all the Buddha realms. May these flames, offering rays of 5-colored lights of wisdom, pervade throughout the 6 classes of beings, down to the Avicii hells, the 3 realms of samsara, be liberated into the rainbow body, and all sentient beings awaken into the heart of enlightenment.
Oh, that's telaya ini kata tinggalan so kita ngi shi tsai ini manju suju ko dran so jaba tam tela ini chobe ke tring de tu che che de pet ke so ko ya poch ini gombo yoden dran ke ko chu so ma da so so na mi so ka de yo ba ta so ka lo choba ta chi kangwa dang de ke se dang ne ko so chi ndramela to wa ten la gi che 다 리국 되네 다 생겼단 게라 소소게 다 가다가 그래나 내가 가는 길에 봐 도시지는 다 내내 봐 조지는 플러스.
So generally, we've kind of already gone over how to make these offerings. In particular, for the guests of the 3 jewels invited out of respect or reverence, we visualize the offering substances transforming into clouds of offerings, ascending up as offerings to the 3 jewels, the enlightened beings. Then the protectors, the guests that are invited based on their qualities, the protector spirits. And this is quite similar, the same as our Solka offerings, Dharmapala offerings, where whatever those particular substances used, offerings of Solka and fulfillment, offering supplication practices, and those particular substances, visualize the substance being transformed into those for that class of guests. And then likewise for the guests of the 6 realms of existence, all sentient beings, visualizing the substances transforming into whatever it is that those individual sentient beings long for. In this way, visualizing all the offerings transforming and proliferating.
건조라야 처밥할 때니 맞추게 되니 선한다 이식 소조 교도 통으로 가다 쇼삼지.
So in making offerings to the jewels, thinking that based on that, may the accumulations of merit and wisdom be perfected, completed, and may the ordinary and supreme siddhis be realized, obtained.
네, 최종성을 나가서 받아서 담기다가 처밥해야 되니. 아니, 말하면서, 아니, 찌를 때는 말하면서, 상지지 때 받다야. 이제 변제 감탐지 내직 중야. 사벌도 듣는 랑. 다 지금 가서 내가 뭔가지 받으셔야. 아니, 다도 쌈받은 때는 제 이신도 좀야.
여튼 발제 사약된
다도 거든요. 그래서 애네 상초 좀야 같은 제가 가서 애네 사람과 받게 담지 시. 뭐다 드렸어요.
Then in making offerings to the protectors, the beings invited based on their qualities. In general, we think that by making these offerings, may the Buddha Dharma, the teachings of the Buddhas, develop, proliferate, be sustained, and in general, may the happiness and well-being of the world, of the universe, develop and be sustained. On the temporary level, may all obstacles and discordant conditions to progress of our path be pacified, eliminated, and ultimately may obstacles obstructing us from attaining the ultimate realization of Buddhahood, namely the obstacles and hindrances on the paths and bhumis, be pacified.
네, 라버더스. 다 맞죠. 리조그다 배는 파마센비아 담지라. 되네 말하면서 해발 때니 소수가다 지금 레남 그 동네 담지다. 트라체. 되네 대바토. 네, 다 말하면서 그냥 되네 배치서래 애네. 다 센비아 담지 지 파메 정례에서 담지 파서.
Then with the guests of the 6 classes of cyclic existence, all sentient beings, all parent sentient beings, we think that performing generosity to them, making these offerings to them, that their own individual sufferings arising from their individual karmic appearances are freed, that they are liberated from whatever their individual experiences of suffering is, and attain states of well-being, happiness. And think that by making these offerings that we are completing or perfecting the repayment of the kindness of all parent-like sentient beings.
되네 라버다 가르사 렌차 그긴 좋아서 다팀 잼 뭐지도 와 그래서 망치와 되네 이다들 해야 칼을 주고 이다스 되네 이다 없지 뭐 그러니까 이다가 뽑지 된다 고조랑라지 동아리 같은데 그지 되네 소화 망고야 양다 나 카시다 빼나 코라도 뭐만 쓰는 베이스겠어 되네 지 없지 뭐라고 지참 이나양 다 타마데 지 뭐랑 내반라고 되네 양 되게 쟁 내발 되네 지금 잘 줄줄라 그래 다 되는 이다 간다서 뭐도 다 너제기 되잖아요 너비에서 너바 연구비 주제양 말아서다 새로 뭐만 빼는 너비 이니 정도지 집 배웠다 이니양 말아서라야 너바 되면 저같이 연구요 가르에서는 또 음악이 지금 차다. 보는다. 이게 다 지금 알아서 안에 다 골라서 봤다. 다 대탐지라 다 미스. 보는다고.
Honor.
다 대다 탐지라스. 얘는 다 아주 미스게 되는 다 지금 아주 안에 다 포괄을 되니스. 아니 그런 쪽도 지금 알아서 말아서 가리를 내자 차우는 거라. 근데 세글 내자 차우는 거글 내자 차우는 소글 내자 차우는 근데 다 말아서 그러나 배제글 내자 차우는 다 가든 와서 내자 보는 베이스 내자 보는 담지 서플러스 이네 다 그런 쪽 하나 빼서 나서가 아니 말한 쪽이야 아니 다 나서 아니 대담치 가르세고 말한 속에 장다 가르세 때 내담 때에 박야담치 세 코란 소야다 니겁죠 얘네 제가 좀 능력 받아서 담치 직 상방에 받아서 담치 파 저르제네 근데 장줍지 센터 내버죠 내가 좀 소삼지로 어떻게 쓰지
Then, in particular, by making offerings to the fourth class of guests of the classes of demons, evil spirits, and beings that we owe karmic debts to. Most of these spirits, or the beings classified within this group of guests, fit within the realm of hungry ghosts, Preta realm. Many of them being extremely powerful pretas, or extremely powerful spirits within this realm, that still experience their own individual experiences of suffering, great suffering. Some of whom have gained this great power based on having previously engaged in some degree of merit, and based on that merit, they have attained this power. However, having also, while engaged, amassed that merit, made evil aspirations, or had evil intentions, aspirations, or whatever various negative or evil conditions, and based on that have arisen or been reborn as demons, demonic spirits, Dre spirits. So all of this class of malicious spirits harm that are intent on harming others or harming us, we have some form of a karmic connection to them. From our countless past lifetimes, we've engaged in some sort of harm towards them, that has led to a karmic connection or a karmic debt that needs to be repaid. If that connection wasn't there, there would be no way for them to harm us. At some point, we were like the owners of their debt, or they owed us, we harmed them, and now that's coming back to fruition upon us. So whatever these particular karmic debts may be, related to food, clothing, shelter, whatever they're connected to, life force, or having killed beings in the past, whatever they may be, then thinking that or recognizing that by offering to these beings that all those debts are completely paid off, or gone, they've been fulfilled. And likewise perceiving that our own karma is being purified, our own habitual tendencies related to those actions are purified. And that these spirits, by making these offerings to them, fulfills our karmic debt, purifies our karma habitual tendencies, and likewise transforms their own hideous features, pain-filled, suffering-filled bodies and forms, and also frees them from their evil, negative mindsets, and endows them with the precious mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta.
아니 혼자라야 다가랑 조금 런데라라야 되네 소수이라 강덕 애네 강 더바도 빼놨더니 쳤다 대양 다다 설직가 좀 로봇 카드 야반도 많이 봐 지수 나가니 지더니 지 봐도 내배에서 좀 세면 싶은 용한 쇼제 삼제 전에더니 뭐 왔다 애니 대다도 시비 틀었더니 다게장 뭐 뒤섬도 싸고 있거든요. 맞아. 얘네 디클 탐지. 얘네 다게. 얘네 당아란 저거 버리주세요. 얘네 대다부가 얘네 맞아. 탑 야침 못 될었더니스. 얘네 다 소만 매반이더니 지당아라는 쪽에 아니 감성도 참기 가만히 로그서 비에 탐지죠. 아니 다 지금 아주 아니 대화다 때 동하다 잘 때도 대화. 아니 아주 딱 쪽이 상제적 거고 더블 쇼 삼들이더니 가만히요. 뭐 왔다. 아니 만한 거 있지 않더니 뒤에 따라 샤워.
So then our song substances burning in the flames. While they're burning, substances are burning, reciting mantra while maintaining the visualization. So through the burning, the recitation of mantra, and the samadhi, meditative remaining in a state of samadhi, maintaining the visualization. Based on that, whatever these various beings desire and need for them to be satisfied and craving, they are offered that, and not just a single moment of offering or one single offering, but perceiving this offering as being like eternal. The offering is being sustained inexhaustibly for as long as space endures. This offering is being made. So the duration of the offering is not just one single offering, but it is continuous for as long as space remains. By making this offering dedicated to these beings, then by performing this, we recognize that the hindrances, negativity and obscurations of the 3 times are completely purified by this process, and that based on this vast skillful means that of amassing merit, that then we seal this vast practice of skillful means with the dedication of the merit to all sentient beings of the 6 realms of existence. From beginningless time up until now, all parent-like sentient beings of the 6 realms of existence, this practice dedicated to them for the sake of their becoming endowed with happiness, well-being, and being alleviated, freed from all temporary and ultimate forms of suffering, and to attain the state of stable or everlasting bliss, well-being, the stage of Buddhahood. So we seal the practice in that way, with the dedication. Back number 8.
맞아, 그니. 딱, 싸운데서. 파티 따는 거는 쌍방 거래. 창사계는 거는 쌍방 거래. 아니 라마도 소야 tun강제는 거는 쌍방 거래. 아니 대파도서 초나 청도들이다 아주 누구도 청봐. 양 쌍방 거래. 아니 특별히 맞춰 쌍세는 파티 저지래. 되는 민좀 되네. 다서 뭐사 뭐서 방송에서 젠다 도와서 좀 모르겠어요. 다 되는 거서 그래. 서든에다 트렌다 상절 뭔가 한간 되네. 다 트렌가서 다야 휴드 스트레스. 뭐야 휴드 스도. 뭐야 휴드 젠야 휴드 가는도 너무 못해서라고 그랬어.
Song, practice of song we're discussing now. We perform song on many different occasions. Call for offering song. Before you throw a party, you have to offer song. Before a wedding, you have song. Before enthroning a lama, song. For merchants, businessmen, before they travel off on their business adventures, whatever. Offer song. Really, song can itself become like a party. Party where everybody shows up in their finest. Boys try to look handsome. The ladies show up in their finest chubas and wearing their best jewelry. You bring your best horse to the song event. And it really can become like a competition. Who's the most beautiful woman at song? Who has the best horse? So forth. Whose jewelry is the best? Woman, there's a gender. You want to tell you?
뭐죠? 다 가만히 있다가 다 트레인데 yap고도 트레인 디게진데 yap고도 오늘 다 가서 깨달아서 봐. 깨달으라고 이제 잘 그래. 뭔가 내 감각서 그거도 와. 뭔가 가이에서 되는 다 트레인 가자 때 서긋 내지 자판이라고 쳐서라고 했어 그래. 깨달으라고 쓰셔서 다 그것도 맨날 이렇게 깨달쳐로 와. 무슨 밖에 나간 미서 다 때려지도 때려 yap고도 때려지도 좀 되는 그래.
So the ladies come and are assessed on their jewelry, their current situations, whose life's going well based on what this is happening for them. They look really good today, they're most beautiful. And then the men show up, and the men compete. The men have their archery tournaments and their gun tournaments. They bring their finest horses and they race their horses. You can win a lot of money on your horse race. They bet quite a bit. If your horse is the fastest, strongest horse, then much to be won. Not with likewise with the archery, with the bullseye. There's a big prize. And I asked, are there women actually competing like a Miss World, Miss sort of thing going on? He said no, it's they just kind of talk about each other. This is who's who's famous right now, who's doing well, and so forth. Who has this going on for them? Who's pretty, and that sort of thing.
근데 따지고서는 가다 가다. 근데 딱 콘 가다 좀. 안에서는 야고 많이 오는더니 가다 들어가는 밑에는 딱이요. 근데 참선은 고아서 딱더니 양육해서 그래.
Then on the racetrack they have katas that they
Pick them up from the ground.
Yeah. So they put katas on the racetrack with the horses, so they're racing their horses and they have to lean off and pick up the katas off the ground. If they're greatly skilled, then they can do that, and if they're not, they'll fall off and hit their head.
다 되니 양 가서 다 담았대. 뭐가 진짜 됐다. 뭐 되니 다 정시. 렌차 뭐 매나 세컨 제르스 그네. 렌차 뭐 매나 세컨 제르스 거데. 아니 나랑 저 양 칸마 되니 글로 뭐가 다지 거 봐서 그네. 다지 거 봐. 왜요지? 감. 근데 콘서트 제가 좀 매저라고 쓰기 거래. 근데 거쳐 나살이야. 그래서 근데 말한 저야 장 맞아. 뭐가 장기 초도서는 잡아라마 히라 통해요 말 공부요래. 최바들 공부요래.
장초.
아부 호르서 루박 사제로. 근데 질다 잡아야 되는데 거쳐라 샤엔데 밥도 리워 상초드네. 다 지약공으로 나오고야. 근데 잡아니 통는데 거쳐 고치가 저한테 제로는 맞게인데 내가서 상태는 소로지세. 아니 맞아 칼라다 근데 그냥 거쳐 그런가야. 아니 야구실로 왔더니 고라니 때 근데 로고 상태 싸레스.
계란 속이 잡아니 돼.
말해
상시합.
다 진다지 거쳐부터 상사로지스 나 잡아니. 그 싸도 살아. 일단 너는 근데 거. 다들 치워야 그러지 주사라 봐. 근데 다 그때는 그 통도 왔더니 그 바탕진 내차 먹고 매나 색대 자를 색도 와. 야라. 내차 먹고 매나 색대 자를 색. 근데 다 그때 통도 와. 다 암도도 우리 처음부터 내차 색도. 내가 내차 색도 와.
안 줘.
암도. 아따다 고소마 근데 다지고서 렌차스. 근데 코테진 다코 렌차 메라고도 저한테 와. 근데 코 발삼진 아이 아말라 대쇼다서. 알아서 저랑 아시금도 쌈박하면서. 근데 계속 빠르고 어디서서. 근데 참고라고 계속 정보도 먹지. 내가 가야. 근데 대체서 막 대세시에도 와서 렌차 먹고 매란 색된 자세도 와서 차서 가까이 시작해도 와서 매를 받다
Open. So we'll start off with some story. We'll tell it together. So there's a line. So we've made our offering, and now we're sealing it with dedication and aspiration. On this line, now my karmic debts are paid, burnt in the scarlet flames. So, some time ago, there's a monastery in Kham named Dorje Gompa. It's a Guluk monastery, and in this region, in this northern region, there aren't many lamas, monks, aren't many people. And this particular monastery was not really renowned for its studies, education. So, at one point, two of these monks from this monastery were traveling to Lhasa. And they were requested to perform a song in someone's house, some patron's house. They requested these two monks to perform song, in their home. So the two monks say, okay, accept that, and they're reciting, performing the song practice. And in Amdo, this term, karmic debts, into that in Lenchak, Amdo is understood to be something different, like karmic debts, but
It's a dough.
Dough ball.
Handmade dough is known as lencha.
Lencha. So it says, now all my lencha are paid, burnt in the red flames. So the mother of the household brings them tsampa dough balls and brings them to them, and they say, throw these into the flames. These are supposed to be, thrown into the flames, the lenchak. Yeah?
Yeah, so these two monks, they don't have proper understanding of Riwo Sangchod, So when they saw these words, lenchak, you have to burn the lenchak. They said you have to burn this,
Dough balls.
Dough balls. And they told the patron mother to bring the tsampa and make lots of these things, and you have to burn.
Then ameki keranto.
아마도 저런 간 시험이 이제 짬바 쿠셔서요.
Yeah.
렌cha 먹고
대도 왔어. 대도 왔어.
그래서 나도 숨을 쉬었어.
So yeah, they like chastise the mother. You don't know anything. Bring us those, dough balls to burn in the flame. Bring us the lenchak. We have to burn them in the flame. It says so in the text right here.
나서서 다요 원합니다. 사람들이 연된 탈진 따금들이 같이 군선 그래서 군선 강에서 연을 보고 에스선다 도서.
So now the aspiration prayer. Offerings made, then let its flames fill the entire universe, and every minute particle of flames become an inexhaustible cloud of offerings like Samantabhadra's pervading throughout all the Buddha realms. May these flames, offering rays of five-colored lights of wisdom, pervade throughout the six classes of beings down to the Avicii hells, the three realms of samsara, be liberated into the rainbow body, and all sentient beings awaken into the heart of enlightenment.
Start doing things no kajawassana. Ngaran so teta chip gebar teni. Ene ta ngaran so chip salam go pachetam chi. Ene ta tagum joba so tamji ene chepane. Ta chinjeni ene ta ngaran so ga ene kundu sang yene ta 상기 봐 쇼스 잡고 있었다 거래. 다시 쭉 가려고 했어요. 얘네 가르쳐 랑던 추구토야 그거는 지금 요래스.
Never Conway members will not get it.
다들 사람만 알아주면.
Dambong love your dead.
dead
nori. Even munlang Conway mente shaloka nye tente deyang rumpani salandro yuntan tojinshin. Okay, so we're jumping ahead a bit, starting on the bottom of page 10, where it says aspiration. So the aspiration appears in the next 5 verses. Having attained all the noble qualities of the stages of path and fruition, and dispelled all obstacles in view, meditation, and conduct within the sky-like space of Samantabhadra's wondrous wisdom mind, may we seize the stronghold of the youthful base body. So here our aspiration, based on the virtue that we have here amassed, may all obstacles on the paths and bhumis be pacified. And may the trainings in view, meditation, and conduct reach their full culmination, be perfected. Aspiring that the level of Samantabhadra, the sky-like space of Samantabhadra, Samantabhadra's wisdom mind be realized, attained. So here, this part of this aspiration is primarily, or is focused on accomplishing one's own purpose, the direct realization of Dharmakaya.
네, 다 되는 인스 근데 당가란 쪽은 애니 양 이전도 쭉 가세고 다다 다 콜비 장소 동제제네 얘네 당가란 쪽이 배마 잡아 로스 네 다스게 담게야야 전부제 상지도 쇼스지
And then for the sake of accomplishing the welfare of others, we have, if you go down to the next quote of the root verses, and when at last the great ocean of samsara is empty, may all beings attain Buddhahood in the lotus net of Akanishta. Praying that may all sentient beings attain Buddhahood at once together.
나스 콜리 도르게 오미지 흔럽 조상기 시제 먼저 렌차탐기 샹그르지 가라 줄르면 또 마음 드빙 콜로 마주르지사.
And the aspiration continues, going down. The song offerings of the aggregates and elements blaze in vivid, brilliant splendor. The song offerings of red and white bodhicitta blaze in bliss and emptiness. The song offerings of emptiness and compassion fill the Dharmadhatu. Upon the ground of five-colored Vajra light of phenomenal existence, samsara and nirvana, I offer the song offering of spontaneously accomplished perfect Buddhahood. May all my karmic debts from the past be purified. In the present, so they do not remain in my mind stream, I confess them. In the future, may I never be drawn into the wheel of obscuration.
공감, 다음가라 좀 공감다. 기체라 소바서 담피에스. 얘네, 다음가서 얘네, six always, 다 대탐지. 얘네, 다 대탐지 때는 알아서 다 주미 그때는 알아서 거르죠. 다 주미 거르죠. 쇼스다.
주방에
뭐고 없어요.
So here the first line, the song offerings of the aggregates and elements blaze in vivid, brilliant splendor. So our own aggregates, elements, and ayatanas, sense sources, Pumpo Kam and Kimche, through the blazing of the song offerings, are transformed into the immutable kaya, the changeless body of clear light. The body of light is realized. That's what's being pointed out here by this prayer.
다 되는 인스 다 나은가 틀리베디 기술 유지양 배조와 배나다 당가서 되네 자로 틀려라서 배나 대탐체 얘네 당가서 가서 양 배나 식지 쳐 거기 얘네 대동구 이시 얘네 바바 대동구 이시 좀 제가 다 대동부터 다 얘네 되라 나가레스
Song offerings of red and white bodhicitta blaze in bliss and emptiness. Blazing of bliss and emptiness through offering the burnt song offerings, the inner constituents of the body, namely the channels, winds, and bindus of one's own body, by making these offerings blaze with the experience of the unity of bliss and emptiness, inciting or evoking the continuous experience of bliss, emptiness. So this verse focusing on the internal experience, the inner aspects of one's own body.
Any time so pen any only here, Yata, Tab located in it, Tangasos, 6 bala tenetini, there come getting around of Chuji Yanks, Denny. I'll get Donata, Mada Bildunga, sometimes yet. Any, that Dorch, Coswan took. 랑예서 조제제니 얘네 다 공감팀제 탐제 다 그것도지 얘네 송다 그나 송도지 이 축도지 그때니 뭐라 너는 나랑 저거 배치해서 조제되네 어라 리스트 된다네 나스 콘디지 두비 얘네 다 추탐제스 봐 대 탐제더니 가서 가서 얘네들이 예시 와이랑이도 눈지 없이 얘네 다 대답을 얘네 너나 대서 탐제더니 예시 와이랑이서 야 얘네 조바당스 다 포발 때니 얘네 다 가서 가게서 이제 탐제처럼 먼저 다 탐제 장 장어 쇼제스
Also continuing our impure mindset, impure mind through the power of emptiness. All misguided views are burnt away, purified, burnt away. So in brief, here, so through making these offerings, the burnt offering substances, one's own impure body, speech, and mind are transformed into the nature of the three Vajras, transformed into their very essence, the Vajra body, Vajra speech, and Vajra mind. Then through song offering of indivisible emptiness and compassion fills Dharmadhatu. Upon the ground of the blazing five-colored Vajra light, all the phenomena of appearance and existence, samsara and nirvana, we perform the song offering for the attainment of precious, spontaneously accomplished perfect Buddhahood. Here, through our offerings, the nature of all appearance and existence is recognized, all appearance, the container, the ground itself, as being in nature, in essence, the five aspects of primordial wisdom, and all existence within it as manifestations of primordial wisdom. And then recognizing this being recognized through our offering, then likewise we all karmic debts are completely purified.
뉴스 말이야. 뉴스. 뉴스. 이거는 총사.
여기는 순다고. 소 표단된 말이에요.
그건 좀.
네, 상피도 해야죠. 충분히.
무슨 장면에 계시는지.
렌자마고 멜을 제대했어요. 이게 하나 조심해서.
Ngô thầy ni ngô gì ráng là ngô chỉ gọi là đây này giúp mà là ngô thằng ngô làm gọi là cái này ngô chỉ ráng là ngô để sau này đây này chỉ chết.
그건 아니지. 취해도 있네. 아니지.
So we're recognizing that we jumped ahead a little bit.
아니지, 좋아하는.
This conclusion.
니만 오마오 대공사에
디스플레이는 뭐 뒤에 총수, 가만히 총수.
니 당기죠.
엔진마고 멜에서는 지금 비싸게 레벨에서 뭐 세월. 디버스 런치. 디네 맞추고 있어. 라게 계속해서
두사를 뒤다 승기들이 맞게
Deeper do some.
다
Look into
그건
the was like show then it deep was kind of chase.
인도 무슨
다 두순서 같은 분조 대신 고르죠.
이게 저 그거 가서 쉽지 차서 가는 좋은
이거지 딥라이드 그런 게 있으면 진짜 때문에 얘
아니 제원
얘기 이건 둔기 오븐에 얘기 꼭 제가 돼
내가 몸에서 이렇게 차서 이거 아니 너네 좀 꺼줘 돼 원초 대신 아니 제가 치
얘봐
왜 제방 거는
근육이 거의 다
예, 이 어때? Let's build 나서나. 그랬더니 마야 대체해서 자가들이 들어서 뭐딱 총을 총자지 없어.
So Rinpoche like a racing jumping horse jumped.
이제 내가 그러면 야, 니는 들으라고. 이 결론이야. 나 때들 시에발 때에 서양 가서 권초 대신 꼴라.
근육이 거의 바꾼다.
그래서 나 때다부 때는 줄을 때에 때는 말한스러운 거 베네티스를 해네. 권초부 다 베네 대신 꼴라 제바. 처음비 사람들 저바 탐지 장 때는 아주 가서 해네. 인생면 전에 다 버려주지. 예전도 상금매제 난스 강의. 미비 돌천 리리장 군도정부 추진. 인초비 전공 탐문의 세미시바 조비 수주 제비 신강 용수 조바 차버 조지. 대다 총은 매제 예식마여 너를 다 대파주시다.
Going again.
That's your last face.
No, I'm lost. Rinpoche said.
뭔가 니바 콜라. That's so much else.
First, Rinpoche gets lost, and I get lost, and at last, all of you will get lost.
Then we're all already lost. Together.
Page 900. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 paragraph.
Going back to dedication. We were actually still no offense removed.
Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, whatever karmic debts so page 9, first part of the commentary, whatever karmic debts we may have as a result, for example, protection to us by our superiors or reverence shown to us by our inferiors, they're all repaid through the offerings made to the scarlet flame, burnt away and purified. Through this act, all the different guests are satisfied and they receive a great downpour of all that their minds desire. We dedicate this by saying this. Oh, there, okay. So particularly, it's kind of starts mid-sentence, the 2 paragraphs down. So I'll start from the beginning. Through the power of this dedication, may all our negative actions and obscurations of the past, present, and future, particularly our misuse of offerings made to the 3 jewels, in devotion and for the dead, whatever obscures us on the paths and bhumis, be purified completely in the fire of this song offering.
다 매제대 야암체는 여기 시간당 계강 대탐제 추비증기 잡아서 계니버지 야 매제대 마차 then draw to thing as send yet a tick. Any time around to the chip any don't touch it. Any charge Jenny. Any there are top. That's what any carton built in as of any comes on Corvatam Jang. Any Jallo control me. Then draw us and yet a bit zobish and get a short. Yes, somebody.
So here, continuing our main practice, the tongues of flames are visualized to extend upwards, filling all of space, extending upwards, completely filling all the celestial pure realms, delighting all enlightened beings abiding there. Likewise, descending downward into the entirety of the extent of the 6 realms of existence of samsara. Through these tongues of flames, the flames extending out through all existence. Then all beings of the 6 realms of existence are freed of every type of suffering and attain their states of well-being and happiness. And ultimately through this, that the entirety of the 3 realms of cyclic existence is liberated into the stage of Buddhahood, complete enlightenment, the attainment of the rainbow body, the body of light.
Sta sempre interessante, tá? Any abbiamo teniamo la cosonci. Tá? Comes on tamti. Any coson tá? Any sama with any champion. Any time around to pen on a home, certainly on to take by a subject to share.
While performing all of this, we're reciting the seed syllable mantras of the 3 kayas, Om Ahum, Trikaya seed syllable mantra, transforming the 3 realms of existence.
So, any that take it in as to what it's Saris. Manam the Sandat, Hamate, any Chanejo. Chanejo.
무슨도 무엇이래?
무슨 단어를 따르지? 호마호 계산서 telephone. 무슨 단어를
아, 이제다.
뒤쪽 맞줘요.
이건 로서.
대조만.
로서. 아래 나스나스. 어랬더니 뭐 왔다. 너는 주니죠. 안 남아 솜데 담보다가 뭐 왔지. 그som 답안들이 자기서 주는 것도 나서 조금 늦으시면 저번에 고관님이 3회 늦으시 통했더니 다랑에 나서 너한테 줘 봐요.
무엇이 다른 주파보수.
이제 다시 해야 돼. 다시
어디 맞지?
무엇이 다른 주파보수. So concluding the main practice, now beginning the conclusion. So the first element of the conclusory practice is the practice of dedication. So from now page 10, top of page 10. So from the root text, the text says, all is purified into the 3 kayas, the environment, a heavenly place where Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, appearance in the form aggregates of existence, melt into nectar, flooding the whole expanse of the sky with rainbow light. Samsara is liberated into nirvana, this essence of immaculate nectar I share with all those who, from beginningless time until now, have been guests in worldly existence.
다음 도는 드링아 저거 애니 나시 탐지야 애니 꾸썸비로 애니 다
So in brief here, the entirety of appearance and existence is purified within the expanse of the three kayas.
대나이 드링아 저거서 애니 너지 중앙아 용아 애니 주치드니 다 나라 저거 애니 탐지다 주치 중앙아 애니 배드지서 애니 야구가 진짜 강한데더니 너 주주선 탐지 놀라 되는 거라 저기 시간이 농도 아니 이 시간이 rangi도 내줘스
Namche. So continuing in this vein, the five elements, five external elements are recognized in their pure nature as the five female Buddhas. And internally, the five aggregates, one's own five aggregates, are transformed, recognized in their pure essence as the five male Buddhas. So, all occurring within the expanse of the five aspects of primordial wisdom, and the 8 avenues of consciousness recognized as the appearance of the 5 aspects of primordial wisdom.
다 되는 얘기들은 아주 빨리서 이니 공감 김치에다가 이니 주는 것은 자리께 걸 자리께 걸때에서 되나더니 이나 나와 너다 스파 규제 두배 조펑고 초남네 두 남존비这新的让你破灭잘 늦어 신 늦어 rangen데 쇼와를 마저 방가야 메라 늦어 랑장 자거치 넘버 접을 반항군 강화 코와다 냥데는 조벌 제바데 대답을 탑는 3회 개초디 너무 타다 조벌 제바다 늦어 강신 늦어 강신 모주경
Inanimate appearance, the container that is the outer environment, and the form aggregates of animate existence are blessed and thereby melt into Amrita nectar, symbolizing the destruction of the Maras, or until no part remains unchanged. The steam and vapors from the Amrita appear in the form of rainbow-colored light, which floods the whole expanse of the sky, and samsara itself is liberated into nirvana. Through this method, we can amass immaculate virtue, and by doing so, overcome all our negative emotions. This is the quintessential Amrita, the virtue that we dedicate.
얘네 다 고성질 논다. 얘네 다 고성질 논다.
So again, in brief here, this dedication is pointing out that the entirety of the 3 realms of cyclic existence of samsara are purified into the expanse of the 3 kayas.
얘네 다 얘네 주진 로익이 수통 탐제야 얘네 거다 다들 조바치 그게 잘해 얘네 대탐제야 다 거다 이시서 얘네 다 알지는 다 탐제는 다 잘을 줘로 있어서
In one's form and the aggregates, everything being purified, transformed here is these really Dzogchen terminology, Dzogchen context here being put forth. one's own forms and the aggregates being transformed, recognized in their pure nature as the kayas and primordial wisdom, all attaining the state of the rainbow body.
다 근데 손들더니 컨디니가 다 컨디 탐비야더니 냠바니 아니 당과됐다 배 뒤쪽 배를 야채 어라서 다티 손호나스 다양 다티다다 기와지르도 다티 손호나스 전에 코메트니다가 여기를 항상 도와줄 줄 알아요.
Attaining this, then, is the pure equality of samsara and nirvana, as expressed here. And this whole process, or all of this, is being compared to, or likened to Amrita. There's an analogy being presented here of how this is like Amrita, Dutsi, nectar, transformative nectar. So then the virtue of engaging in this, then who is this to be dedicated to?
On the same page as for the objects to whom we dedicate.
Well, so as for the objects to whom we dedicate, they are the guests in worldly existence who have wandered throughout the three realms of samsara from beginningless time until now. All sentient beings who have been our very own parents, we dedicate to them in a state that is free from the three conceptual spheres. So that concludes the practice of dedication. So are there any questions?
This Nord Wadi. The key to the North. That Julian made for sharing in Nord.
Amrita.
문제는 탐지 정주지 다들 줄을 털어서 마운트가 콜로 만지지도 다들 줄을 미니 털어서 로터디 노트 코자 심지도
Symbolizing the destruction of the Maras?
in the present, so they do not remain in page 11.
Oh, okay. We didn't get
They're
there.
not there yet.
No, Rimuchi jumped and explained that one.
Where?
Page 11, the two long song that you
The bottom.
more the dish gaps on one of the.
Yeah.
When you land in the Yanni, that's the Julian solution, Mount River, Magic, that Rimuchi dish gaps on. You know that Julian Minitolo in North.
Injikela.
Injil North. The Tawai North, Java North Corner. Hagi could be Java on the other before. Because that Julian Kasa, the Java did the work for.
Jubilant or do it. Shape.
Julian North. Zawa Javanica North, Card North Sena, Java Nagas, that take Julian. Cheap dictum times a mini being so sharp so Segdo. Who has said that they can't shoot it. In the present, we confess our humble actions and transgressions so they do not remain in our mind streams in the
Oh, instead of
under page 11 Imagi Jula in the present situation.
last.
All the big sound was the
Kadarang last. So last. So before when we jumped ahead into the on page 11, Rinpoche gave commentary to the aspiration of the conclusory practice. There's one line Lopan has noticed. This seems to be a mistake both in the root text translation and in the commentary, or just a strange translation, particularly this, relating to this line of "in the present, so they do not remain in my mind stream, I confess." Where the Tibetan it is the meaning is well, the meaning is the like negativity I'm presently engaging that is presently there. So for it to not remain, abide, I confess it.
It's the same.
Java that big Java that the Julian minute solution. Java now thought that the many beings solution. 저는 big Java image.
Demokali.
That Julian minute solution. Jula.
Did Jill another Jenna Sani lagi? Tadaran Jagan. Okay, everybody think about your question.
Needs it.
Who's first?
What is misuse of offering?
Misuse of offering? Can I have it? Koila bakba.
Spending them for what they're given for.
Oh,
Taking money off the shrine.
Julia 집에 뒤지면 미니빈 소셔서 어디 쓰기도 대파 지금 자와는 내가 니가 나면 그런다 뎁스 친지로 거도
I think you like saying.
빅바나
Ikung tamche. Mine
미니빈
so
소셔서 쓰기도
Thing like injige.
딜라 다 하다가 파기 나오면 자와는 내가 뎁스 넣어
You know, in the
저랑 나 단단하지 지금
last.
저랑 단단하지 라비 딜라 더 딜라
Okay, so anyway, back to our line. If you'd like to change it on page 11, it's also in the commentary. Maybe just make a note of it at the bottom of page 11 in the root text in the present, so they do not remain in my mind stream. I confess them. So the meaning is more that those negativities, obscurations, faults in my mind stream presently, so as to not remain, I confess them. So that's how the root verse should be, because in the commentary it's made clear that in this very moment in my mind stream, the faults that exist, all of them, to not abide any longer within my mind stream, I confess them in the expanse of basic space.
That Julia Minute Holishes what this is what
Kade gula chibe
Minepe Ingso Tono Shafso said, Minepe Ingson Garret.
you never yings. Oh,
Oh, this is left.
Oh.
Sharon the Garret.
okay.
Minepe Ingson
Yeah.
in the spirit of non-abiding nature. Dilla Tono Shafso.
Okay. Me never yings with told.
Oh, this is you might have waited to me a chat summer.
Okay, let's change it again. I'm just the servant. So the not abiding, it should not be so as to not abide in my mind stream. In the root text, it's not as clear, but in the commentary, it's made more clear where I confess them in the non-abiding expansive space. They are confessed into the non-abiding expansive space.
So nothing about remaining in the mind stream is not, that's not there.
That's not there. So the thing to change on page 11, so they do not remain, should be changed to in the present, I confess them, literally from the root text is just, I confess them in the non-abidingness or something. In the non-abidingness, yeah. Those present in my mind stream right now, I confess into the non-abidingness. And then the commentary makes it clear that the non-abiding is the non-abiding expansive basic space. Minepe yin. So it's also mistaken in the commentary. Maybe tonight I'll make something real pretty for you so we can get to some questions. Corbe bak. Kola bakba. Bakba de dunda. Kunchut kola bakba.
다
Kozela bakne chepa.
권초고 거를 받고 와서는 얘네 다 지도한 데 됐어요. 스페인다데 권초고 제세도 가서 아니 다다다가 가지고 빼놨더니 고선 톡 얘네 지금 알아서고 때라서 봐. 이제 지금 봐. 그래서 당기 지금에 양 smooth 봐. 나한테 서로 그들 지금 가서 드레스 때 지금 이니 다 가는 쪽이요. 코르세도 없었다. 해봐지않나 시험보라서 봤다고도 얘네 가서 그 제대로 저당 양한테서 기타 소리에도 맞으나 그냥 가서 맞을 빼야 되네. 양을 차려고 차려고 어떻게 됐어.
Denide. So the question is regarding what does it mean to misuse the donations of or the property of the 3 jewels? Or to defile the property of the 3 jewels, misuse the property of the 3 jewels. So there are 2 ways that this happens, 2 ways to understand this. So the first is regarding the sacred supports of body, speech, and mind of the 3 jewels, the Buddha Dharma, statues, scriptures, and stupas, and so forth, the sacred supports. Misusing them, defiling them by misusing them, in particular by making business out of them, selling them for profit. So that's the first category of what that's referring to. And the second, when we talk about core, can also mean the donations connected to the 3 jewels. The donations made by the faithful patrons, donations made on behalf of the deceased. These substances or those monies, if they're not used properly, how they're as intended, then that is the second type of misusing of the property or donations of the 3 jewels. And both of these carry with them a significant karmic debt. So in talking about the substances of the 3 jewels, statues and so forth, this is generally referred to or referring to substances, sacred supports that have been consecrated, have been blessed already. New supports, new statues that have yet to be consecrated, blessed, not necessarily referring to those. We're generally just referring to items that have been consecrated, blessed already. Selling those is making business of the property of the 3 jewels.
The second class of guests, the first class of guests we offer out of respect. The third one we offer out of compassion. Why do we say that for the second class, the protectors, we offer out of because of their qualities? What does that mean, qualities there? Because it's different from what I usually think of as qualities.
Then jumbo nibade yunten ki togne. Then shugi ore. Then de kabla yunten ki tundakare.
Gombo yunten.
Gumbo yunten.
Yunten 가르쳐 지는 거 시행하는 가르쳐는 yunten ki tiene menos.
Then de
지당도 됐을 때 있는 거.
디세기 엄마래. 딘딘 슈당 딘딘 레세기 엄마.
있잖아요.
그거는 제가 디세기.
네 티티를 전화해 쓰는 거예요. 지금 얘네 쉬고요. 티티. 네.
jumbo ni pikabla yunten ki tundakare.
공보 연전기
Gumbo yunten se yunten ki tunda. Yunten de kabla kare.
다 이런데 세다 이런데 그 배드주스에 아니 코페드주스에 아니 같이 파티에서야 두개 되냈다 그거야 근데 왜
So I said, just, we invite them based on their qualities, and we don't exactly say that. It's the second class of guests are the guests, the protectors, like with qualities that are invited. Better way to say that. Anyway, so then I just clarified and said, so what exactly are the qualities? What does it mean in this context? So the qualities of these particular beings, the qualities of being able to eliminate, clear away obstacles to your path, the qualities of being able to harmonize and bring together conducive conditions. So those types of qualities.
Are we calling the Tibetan beings all the lists here also? And also, what material can the vessel be?
The actual that you're burning.
Yeah, so two different.
And some cherry culture been in purple. Why are they doing that? Sorry. Purple, and then lots of song cherry culture. Purple la de so tangma. Purple la yu la sadak de so tangma. Then shugyore, bogyore. Dang me bayaki top de. Top de Congress people ne zogyore. Jucha.
네 맞아 답변은 저런데 서라 체니 투바다 마 투바지 이거래 아 버바도 맞아 체니 투바래다 나서 그 라마한테 소리는 다다 보면 체니 토송거려 봐
민.
체니 맞아 얘나야 다 되는 잠들는 했더니 얘나 요 망고여라 빼는다 아리 따고 있는 체니 맞아 봐라 누가 나나 참아요 거라마도 봐봐 찍거든 인투 말아 내 말해서 얘네야 그는 다 채다 많이 빼는 마토 제발이야 빼는 뿌고지 들에 가서 그 피해줘 뿌고지나 맞아 너도 왜 말해 봐 생겨라 얘네 거 많이 토요 봐 얘네야 너는 측을 해서 측을 해 잠들링 탐지 측을 해 봐봐 미세 가요 말해 얘네야 봐봐 때는 미세 많이 토 봐래 얘네도 많이 마토 봐래 안 거대 니바데 버르당 안아서 그 사당 하체드네 상게데 담지 사다도 되게 되는데 저야래 되게 저야래 상다 밑에
So the main thing with inviting these spirits. So these Tibetan spirits, they have simply gained names. They've been given names by different masters, different gurus. Lamas have named them, so we're calling them by their name. So when you're calling a guest, it's easy to invite them when you know their name. You can ask them to come. But they're not the only spirits, deities on the planet. They're just the ones that we know their names. So there are many other, countless other spirits to be invited as well that are suitable guests as well. And to the hearth, for Tibetans, what we burn, offer the song substances in, we have earth and stone, so that's what we make them out of.
전부 다 증명 도저도 맞아 상황한 적 되는 주기 도저도 맞아지 배나 다 증명 맞아지 부고디 배나
신기한 상태에 따나 부고들 가장 되죠 부고들 매요 말아 근데 그 맞은 너는 고르 이나 그 매요 말아 근데 매요 말에 이나 그 너무 넣고 이거 걸어 하고서
부고대서 민용말
배나 부고 가장 지게 다 매요 말아 그건 너무 난다가 선생님이 영어로 와
가장 시켜
부고 좀 말해 제조
Yeah, you won yesterday.
So anyway, so we invite all these spirits that we know the names of, and then likewise there are countless other spirits and beings that do not have a name yet. But when we're inviting all beings, we're inviting all of them as well. All beings, spirits are being invited. Those we know the names of, those we don't know the names of. Like a being that a child, an infant that's born yesterday. It's yet to have a name. We're inviting them as well. All beings are being invited.
죄송한데 다다데 빼나다 아메리카를 연락이다 망고 용결 봐야. 어디서 듣겠다? 매일 맡아 봐야 커서. 이내는 러지 나와 이거 바바 지고 말해. 바바만 지고 말해. 잠불링을 여세래. 이네요 거저 매일 맞아서 다 매일 매백이 나와서 그래. 나서서 다 년체 당가 생년 저거 때문에 가서 때는 대생년도 도와 먹고도 와. 그래서 거저 매일 터서 그래. 아니 매일 터지 매일 맞아서 너는 열어 매일 맞아. 그래. 상해요.
Like all of our local spirits, our American local spirits and deities that have yet to gain their name. We haven't given them their titles, their names yet. They're still within the within the group of guests being invited here. We're inviting all the spirits of the world, all beings of the world, of the universe, calling them by their names or by those that haven't been named yet. All of them are being called. With Tibetans, we've named all these various different spirits, so we can call them by name. Yinchen Tangha, we call you here, and then likewise all the unnamed spirits too are guests as well being invited.
이네 찍지는 고소 짜치와지 고소 배 효치와 차그래. 고소 명물 네바당 로를 바꿨어요. 머리 느껴서 그래 맞춰라 그래. 가르서 고소 로를 바꿔래. 사자 아미르가 코라나 내리면서 명물 네바라와 찍지는 고소 얘네 고난서 랑게 사자에도 찍지는 고소 쪼고 요 그래. 이네 찍지는 고소 매봐요.
So maybe these local spirits here, these unnamed American local spirits, maybe they're more powerful. Because this is their place. This is where they always are. They have dominion over these things. The spirits that we're calling by name all the way from Tibet are all of a sudden having to travel over here. They have dominion here. So powerful. But the local spirits, we don't even know their names. You know, they're probably most powerful, even though they're unnamed.
So, I mean, speaking of spirits' names and like the main names of mountains, there are named mountains by Native Americans, like the Dene, the Navajo have named like Mount Blanca Sisnejin, and then Rock Crystal Boy, Rock Crystal Prayer, all over at the Sangre Crystal Mountains. So, I mean, they have done that. So, I mean, what difference does it make if we name, when we call them by name, once we find out, for example, if we research the actual Native American tribes lore that's available to us, because a lot of that stuff has been, intentionally withheld because, they don't want it to become marketed, or, monetized or whatever, or corrupted. So there's a lot of terma of Native American spirits and,
Terma?
Yeah, basically termas, the equivalent of termas within Native American culture. And African cultures, and there's other, different cultures that are here in America. So, I mean, what's the difference between using the name versus just saying them, we'll come one, come all?
Yeah.
Such a deep. Navajo Syriac, they Rigi, Ganga, Nepe, Yuha, there's a Ming Ten Taksare, Mango Taksare. La deto yine sandwich ne babe shagyo ne miman laba yine de songya ni ngeta chagi de north side of chagi tene la deto la sen yopa ma se la deto dang drawa yope terma la yang logyu dramin na tok yore sa ne perfect ter nang shin chikpa dawo Yore Sergiore, something like Sergiore. Then it going to a toilet, Carde Sen, the name. Sen ver ma ver ki kebar to Carde, Petrashana, you have Yudo, Chasan, Pesho, Chico Babayina, Yaman, Sen, Daminato, Crede, ki Verbayina, the name Kebar Yunamina.
The Chebeshera is a man that could cancel any. 여러 뜻은 다 관한서 고스는 배는 매여져서 다 치슈도부터 여러 배는 버려고 있나서 치슈도서 그 매여가 다 뜻은 관한 너무 안 보여요. 뜻은 매여라요 말. 다 지금은 다 고스 뜻으로 오지는 배는 다 매여면에 시라 채로여서 말이지. 다 배는 관한서 수소라 처당 네바 왕상 현재기 다 고스 수소라 얘기 미라고 요랬어. 다 그래서 잠시 다 소소를 가이는 데를 알아들고 요래. 배는 딱 코란스 나오니나 배는 딱 가시 들어 용 거래. 배는 딱 나서 아메리카 레이노니나 코 나오니 아직 쪼어로 이제 가시 연구해서
America killing.
레이나
Arila.
야 배는 뒤 나오는 양 배는 딱 가서 쪼어들에 가시 연구해서 양 되게 초로 배는 딱 가서 규통이 생기한 들에 용도 와. 직관에 나서 배는 나서 배는 직땡 밑에서 야지 차들이 지금 용도 와. 어느 마디라고 제가 되게 집드는 것을 맞더니 고쳐대 뒤라고 열었어요. 근데 될 때는 이제 소소가 뭔가 써남당 해를 때니 근데 될 때서 고쳐 빼는 아니 쇼케줘는 누가 지정되는 역사에서 아 가시 뜻을 빼는 데서 말하는 것들이 콜로고 차로고 가시 가기 쪼으로 차로고 근데 역사에서 전에 아메리카는 여하들은 다 대성했더니 다트에서 고라 잡고 건조 아빠는 다비고 건조 근데 요사는 살라 아메리카도 여하들서 고라 잡고 건조 잡고 이거 좀 요사는
So no real big difference by calling them by their name or not. No real big difference. Each of these spirits have their own particular actions they perform, their functions, their own powers, capacities, abilities. And often it's the biggest, most powerful that will be named, but there are many other in their retinue or lesser beings that have particular functions that will go unnamed. And this is true in Tibet as well. That in Tibet, the spirits and local deities that have names are the primary spirits or deities, where you're still calling the entirety of their retinues and other subdivisions of spirits that don't necessarily have names but can still perform functions based on their own individual merit, karmic proclivities and functions, abilities, and so forth. So each spirit, named or unnamed, has its own activity, function to be performed. So that's the way it's taught and prescribed in Tibet, and likewise quite similar here in America too, that there are primary spirits, primary deities, secondary deities that perform their functions based on their merit and so forth. Maybe in America that arise based on the collective merit of sentient beings abiding there as well. So maybe in America these spirits have iron helmets and iron armor and bird feather iron helmets and iron armor and shoot bow and arrows.
Yeah, I'm just imagining the form of American locals.
Maybe that's what they look like here.
가서 뒤로가 뒤니 간주 sö가 당내다 상다 당못 다 쪼는지 민 외들어와 대마들 속 샤기 열어서 엑스를 샤기 열어
속가 당상
sö가 주고 되기로 민당 천내 마다가 솔로치 가서 민당 천내 마다 가려 민당 천내 마다 솔로치 내려 담서 지대 요거 sö가 담을 열어 그 민당 천내 마된 게 상말라고 근데 솔로치도 내려 담서 승스 지어래 sö가 주고 상내에 나서 버스 샤샤 나서면 상겨
in Solka Dharmapala offering recitation. You conclude with
미세게 열 들려 가지고 좀 차고 그래서 나는 중에 가서 라이바 배는다가 가스기 조이는 그러나서 배내지서 강화로 차를 맞이 뭐로 차를 근데 와서 되는 딱 나는 조금 먹고 열어 이는 뒤께당 좋은 들은 내비 연락이 나서 가만 요도 밑에 되죠 다 버려도스 좋은 들은 안 되었어요 나 거기서 매가 말이더니 거기서 다 미세는다고 차로 나 버려 옛날에 숲지 차로 미세 차로
Also die Sound, das sogar 이걸 랩이었디.
이거는
상당히 Lopan's pointing out that in both of the practices of Sang and Solka, Dharmapala recitations, that these such spirits, the local spirits and the unnamed spirits, are given particular attention and particularly addressed at the conclusion of the Solka and both Sang. There's this and so forth, and the rest of you all, inviting all of you who whose names have been shown and who haven't, reciting, calling many out by name, and then those whose names have not been shown, all the rest of you come as well, or we venerate you, or whatever. So they're given particular attention, and then there's one line in particular as well, saying all spirits in general, and in particular the spirits and deities abiding in this given location, wherever that may be. Like, in particular, you all are venerated or made offerings to, or please come here. So really, in both these practices, we're there's a unique and particular attention paid to whatever given local spirits may be around. The uniquely powerful spirits, as this is your land, even though we don't know your names, sort of thing.
가산 찍으는 거지 지송송 한들 미숨 쥐가 찍세요 쥐디 나를 하서 하담 제다 미숨 쥐를 찍세요 조당 쥐바 디미너 찍바레스요
하담
제다 미숨 쥐를 찍세요 이번 나신 전에 되는 다지그로 한이 아메리칸 로컬 스피릿 요라 되래 조 코르 때가라서 미디스 간데요 조 코르 요포들이 두가 되나지 아메리카에 찍고 직장에 오래서 삼림 가서
라드미
some judo jigs there.
Kiranlan.
Just here. Then Jay, me some your man jitting come there. This some go hot down job at a chick is job. This was a
that is one of the northern channel.
She did an American meat in it and native Tikadu.
Indian data.
Oh, Jabu, they go hit you some with what. Had in the local spirit did it of
So there was a line recited, or Rinpoche was referencing this teaching or line saying that the spirits, demons, and people of a locale are similar in conduct, act similarly in their primary beings and their retinues, engage similarly, related to why Rinpoche thinks that maybe the local spirits here, was saying they look like Native Americans with their feather headdresses and so forth, because the local spirits have a connection to the people, and this belief that, the spirits, the deity spirits, demons, and people of a given locale are similar in conduct and appearance.
Latsun Namka Jigme, was he one of the 3 lamas from Kham that opened Sikkim? And is he connected to the Changter, or what? Can you tell us more about him?
Latsun Namka Jigme, Kham Chokne Lama Sumki, Drejongki, Nede Gochebaresa. And this was Sumki Nangne Kongchik. You know?
네.
한숨이 공부를.
네. 앞전 남과 김에 가토 선생 친구
진진거든.
이거든.
그전에
말에
대전 내고 지게.
말에
진진 그전 내고 지게 그래. 내내 그런 거지 찍고라.
저는 비슷한 말에 최저 스마트 모습으로 스마트 모습은 대중으로 잡고 당고 되는 대중으로 잡고 들에 되네 가토를 된 쳔보래 얘네 합선 나가지고라
한숨 나고 그래. 이는 한숨 나고 좀 가면 말이야. 공부.
합선 공부를 공부 고소 하는 데네
Latsun Namka Jigme Kato Rexin Chenpo Dene Sikkim Gyabu Dango
Gyabu Tere
Senkai Gyabu Dango
고속이 취재 스마트 모습을
푼전 남자 생이지.
풍선 남자를
푼전 남자 생 말이야. 가서 시켜보지.
스마치 거 써도
음.
다다 되는 다시 등강 고동 분야는 여라.
다시 딩. 다시 딩.
스마트 인센터네 요래.
다시.
최정이 나라.
최대 요래.
네.
이 주제당 군수.
공강내. 세부침보대 강내.
미시 공간이.
네.
네, 거지 장들 말이야. 나중에 좀
장터 드라와요래.
나 저는 미시 코랑 그때는 때문에도 다다 리종 말아. 그것도 인생 속으로 세요.
네.
인생 속으로 합주나 같이 보다. 그래서 말해.
그래.
근데 좋았어요. 다들
And reason so drugi not say chi real
네, 인생 속으로 붙여. 자시지래.
네.
네, 코라 때때네. 콩자 치휴다 잡는 거 때려봐. 노르지님 뭐. 노르지님 뭐 털을 찡기님 뭐 생겨. 노르지 네,
요즘 띵기 털.
찡기 털. 노르지 찡기 털.
So the three individuals that opened the sacred site, sacred abode of Sikkim were Latsananka Jigme, Katok Rizin Chenpo, and the first king of Sikkim, named Puntup Namgyal, Dharma King Puntup Namgyal, or often called Dharma King, the great being Sempa Temple, most commonly referred to as Chogya Sempa Temple, who this is soon Tashi Ding like chicken. Okay. So at Tashi Ding in Sikkim, the holy site of Sikkim, Tashi Ding, stupa of the remains of Chogya Sempa Temple is there today. And Latsananka Jigme, we don't really know of any particular connection between him and the Changter, the Northern Treasures tradition. The tradition that he's most often connected to is his own terma revelations of the Riksen's Tsokdru, the accomplishment of the life force of the Vidyadharas. And our text of, or our practice of Riwo Sangchod is from that cycle of teachings, the Riksen Tsokdru. And Riksen Tsokdru ki nangse de Dorje Ningpo.
또 나리 말해. 소소해. 소모지. 그런 자 친구들 노리는 거 쓰고.
And his most like sacred, most revered teaching that he revealed or is connected to is called the Dorje Ningpo Turlu Chokor.
저는 땡기님.
Turlu Chinki Ningpo. Something like this. The
Torch. Can you say it in Tibetan again?
Dorje Ningpo Tulu
땡기님.
Chinki Ningpo, essence of cloud or something. Spontaneous song of the clouds, of the Vajra heart, spontaneous song of the clouds. Chinki Ningpo.
다 된주종사가 왕等着拉出来，왕 그것은 리종 그런 거 봐. 이게 그것은 아니 납정 그 아니 왕 트가 여러 노리는 거 그것을 라고래서. 얘네 아니 내 여보 미직 찍고도 제대로 사지 도지요. 그래서 제대로 주지도를 제대로 사지 도지요. 표현을 때 제대로 주지도 막 보면 말아. 얘네 그것을 라고래. 얘네 제대로 사지.
그래서 저기 노력이 난 두고.
텀도 공다 제종의 이런 거라 됩니다. 얘네 제대로 사지 도지게 얘네 다 얘네 그것을 얘네 배로스가 그좀 하고 휴소. 옛날에 뭐지가 너무 딱스 너무 다 되네 당보 되네 돼서 가서 배차돼서 빠르게 잘돼서 필이요 거절해요. 대 트레이드도 아서 근데 당보 때야 뭐 지금도 트레이드도 근데 지마한테는 자제를 못지 나를 다가 거절해요.
되잖아요.
근데 좀 이제 그래도 뭐 큐때 이날 때 그것도 오늘 날이 또.
So this cycle of teachings, Dorji Ningpo, cloud essence teachings, were lost in Sikkim. The tradition of the empowerments, the reading transmission, and the guidance, the Lung Long tree, were lost in Sikkim itself. And they were, at one point, possessed only by Chachol Sangye Dorji, who received them from Khyentse Chogi Lodro, who was requested to bestow them in Sikkim, but he was not, didn't remain there long, passed away, and there was not the opportunity for him to bestow them. So then, at one point, Chachol Dorji did re-bestow them back in Sikkim, reigniting the tradition of that Dharma. After the people came to him with the tally cards, they had made copies of the texts and the images, and he had pointed out where there were mistakes in them, and they corrected them, and then at some point finally bestowed them, the teachings, back to the people of Sikkim. So kind of funny that their particular unique cycle of teaching was completely lost to them and had to be brought back by the Tibetans.
천재를 못지은 대중을 받을 합전 난관지는 시야즈네. 아니야, 가다 노르제 님보상에 그냥 내주지 정도. 대체 천재를 못지 미사일 합전 게 노르제 님보고 추고지 천재를 못지라요. 안한 가고 좀 공대중을 받을 합전 나 자와 합전 바샤즈 좀.
Dogo Khyentse. Dogo Khyentse Rinpoche traveled to Sikkim on one occasion, met with Latsun Namkha Jigme in a state of pure vision, and received directly this cycle of Dorji Ningpo personally from Latsun Namkha Jigme, receiving it in its entirety, establishing a short lineage, near lineage of these teachings, opening the wheel of the Dharma of these teachings again in a short lineage.
Was Rinpoche with him then?
Did you Rinpoche, you know?
No.
네?
진짜 뭐지 정말 당분 그들을 위해서. 맞죠? 그 진짜로 뭐지 그때는 다다 다 공대 소모는 맞죠 나오요.
Dredjong.
정말 진짜로 뭐지 까먹는 거 알아?
네.
근데 손 나오는 거래. 네, 대대다 합전 샤즈 나오는데 대대 같이 진짜 추진을 공부한 조도 되는 인사래. 나무 있어. 진짜 추진을 되는 좀 시야래와 대가서 진짜로 뭐지 별로 안 되죠.
근데 가본 기능은 때 공대기.
네, 그게 다한게 다 진짜로 뭐지 다한테 공대 놓여요. 왕 축바 차선 거래. 대대 나오는 거래. 맞죠? 그래서 손에 까먹는 거라. 가대 진짜로 뭐지 냠는 아이가 가대 냠는 지금만 냠는 제만 진짜로 뭐지 지금에 맞은 아신 제만 제발 냠는 요매 제발 가요 말았어.
So Rinpoche was not with him then. It was when Khyentse Rinpoche maybe first went to Sikkim, likely when Khyentse Chogi Lodro had passed away. When he first went to Sikkim, Rinpoche was able to receive the transmission for these teachings when receiving the entirety of the collected works of the mind treasures of Dogo Khyentse Rinpoche, within which are all of his pure vision teachings, everything he received in pure vision. So Rinpoche did receive the entirety of the Lung Wan Chi, the empowerment, reading, transmission, and guiding instructions of these. So Rinpoche was not with him at the time, and he met him in a state of pure vision. Rinpoche was not in a state of pure vision with him, wasn't there at the same time. And, yeah.
Was the first king, Phuntsut Namgyal, was he from Kham or from?
Oh, I asked that. We don't know.
니처럼 이런 애들은 없어요.
I asked if he was from Kham, and we're not sure. We don't know. Latsun Namkha Jigme is definitely not from Kham. He's from Kongpo. And
That's Latsun Namkha Jigme.
Latsun Namkha Jigme is from Kongpo, and we don't know about Sempa Chimpo.
Katok is from Com. Of course.